Hello YouTube, this is Reverend Evan Sackett. This is going to be a special video focusing on a very special topic. And it's sort of a broad topic, but it is a very real topic. And I believe that the best way to word it would be the immaturity of the common American male. Now, I don't want to sound like a man who's on the side of women or a male feminist or what have you, but I would have to agree with the fact that a lot of women, not all, maybe not even the majority, but a lot of women have a maturity level that supersedes that of men. A lot of the men that I've talked to, here in East Tennessee, I don't know how it is in the rest of the country, I assume it's the same, but here in East Tennessee, you will find a great number of single mothers, women between the ages of 16 and 35 that have had children, and 9 times out of 10 the father of these children is nowhere to be found. They are usually separated or divorced from the mother of their children. They may spend time with their children maybe once or twice a month, but they seldom ever pay child support. My mother and my father were divorced when I was 2 or 3 years old. I have no early memories of living with my parents, both of them together. My father always paid child support. He always offered my brother and I a place to stay if we needed it. He was always there for us. He took us on the weekends if we wanted to come with him. He was a good father, regardless of what my brother would like to think. But a lot of fathers aren't like that. They don't really care what happens to their children. Sure, they may be there for emotional support, but when it comes to involving a lot of work, they're not willing to do it. They're not willing to take part in their children's lives. And that child will grow up resenting that parent. And usually, if it's a male that had a shitty father, 9 times out of 10, they grow up to be a shitty father themselves. And I think a woman in a film that I can't recall worded it best. The main reason why men are scared to be fathers is because they are scared of growing up. They're scared of taking responsibility for their actions. And when I was a teenager, I was faced with the fear of becoming a father myself. It terrified me because the girl that was telling me that she was pregnant was not particularly attractive. I wasn't very attracted to her. I in no way wanted to start a marriage with her of any kind. But if she was pregnant, I was willing to stand up and take responsibility and help raise that child. I even started a bank account, and I started saving up money. And I told myself, I don't care how hard it is. I did it. I'm going to take care of that child. I'm not going to fail that child. That child will grow up knowing their father, and not only that, they will grow up admiring and loving their father, because I'm going to work my ass to the bone to care for that child. Of course, I find out 2 or 3 months later that she was lying to me. She was just putting me through hell for whatever reason. Went through a great deal of trouble to try to convince me that she was pregnant, and I'll never forgive her for that. But there are a great number of people who are not as fortunate as I was, or unfortunate, either way you want to look at it, who did become fathers. Their girlfriends were not lying to them. They really were pregnant. And, it's a daunting thing for anyone to realize. I'm 25 years old, and if I were to impregnate a female, I would obviously be very shocked. And we don't really, we always say that we want to be in a financial stability before we have a child or we get married or whatever, but when are you going to be stable? Even if you are stable, chances are you're not going to stay that way. Life is such, it has so many twists and turns. There is a small percentage of people, I don't know what the percentage is, but there is a percentage of people who have a lot of money, and even in times of poorness and depression and desperation, even in the greatest depression that could possibly be imagined, they have more money than we could ever dream of having. And of course, finances is not something they have to worry about. About the only thing they have to worry about is finding something to occupy their time. Very often people who are born rich and do not have to worry about finances in any form or fashion very often they find their lives to be very boring, very dull, and very meaningless. I mean, think about it. They have no purpose in their lives unless they actually put that to good use. If I were to win the lottery, I would invest that money into opening businesses, and I would make more money, and I would make it my life's mission to put that money to good use. I would only keep so much for myself, and I would go out, say, every month, and I would pick out a family that I felt was worthy, and I would fulfill that family's dreams. I would buy them a house. I would get them a bank account. It couldn't be a family that I felt was addicted to drugs or was going to waste the money, but a family that was really trying to work hard, but they just couldn't get a break, and that's what I would do with the money. Every month, if I were a billionaire, I would go out and I would find a certain family and help them. I wouldn't donate the money to charity, because it seems like no matter how much money we donate to charity, there are still people who are poor, and it makes you wonder, where the fuck is all that money going? I mean, billions and billions of dollars are being donated every year. Where is it going? I don't see it going to anybody. I'm sure it is, but where is it going? Are they shipping it overseas? I mean, I'm sorry, but I can't help people in another country. I can only help a few people at a time. But anyway, I'm getting off the point here. The point is that I believe that a person should stand up and take responsibility. Because when you're irresponsible, your life is so empty. And my grandfather taught me this. He is the most responsible individual you can ever imagine. He's the type of man who sacrificed any and every enjoyment you could possibly get out of life just to save back a couple of bucks in case he ran into hard times. And, I mean, it taught me that you can overcome adversity. You don't have to live in misery. You don't have to live poor. You don't have to live broke. You realize that you are the only person to blame for your fuck-ups, and you are the only person that can pull yourself out of the hole. I hear people whining and complaining day in, day out. They've got jail fines to pay. They've got court costs to pay. They got to go to jail. They got to do this. They got to do that. And I'm thinking, you know, all of this could have been avoided if you had just been a little bit less stupid and not gone out driving when you were fucking drunk as fuck. Or maybe this could have been avoided by not beating the hell out of your wife. Or whatever it is. I just don't have any sympathy for stupid people that do stupid things and fuck up their life. You don't have to fuck up your life. And you can take responsibility. Just keep that in mind. People will try to tell you that you have to live in misery, that misery is eternal, you cannot escape it. But you can. Your life is up to you, whatever you make of it. You can live like a king. You can live in an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment, and work a almost minimum wage job and still live like a king. If you save back the money, you can eat well, you can live well, you can come home every night to a comfortable home and watch movies and just enjoy every second of your life. I've done it, and I've realized that money is not what buys happiness. You can live as a king. You really can. All you have to do is put your mind to it, and you can accomplish anything. Because money doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you live in an apartment or a mansion. If you lived in a mansion anyway, you are only so big. There's only so many rooms you could sleep. You can only sleep in one room. You can only stay in one room at a time. So even if you had a 30-bedroom mansion, you couldn't sleep in all 30 of those bedrooms, so what's the point of having them? Just think about it. Instead of spending your life dreaming of what it would be like to be rich, live in the now. Live with what you can do. And when you start thinking that you can accomplish something, it becomes very real. You realize that you can do it. It doesn't have to be impossible. Nothing is impossible. It's all up to you.